Alright, you think you know Astromech Droids. R2-D2, BB-8, maybe Chopper if you've been on that deep lore kick. Cute little trash cans that beep and bloop their way to galactic victory, right? Wrong. That's a lie. A total galactic-sized lie. Astromechs have been around for a literal millennia, and their evolution is way crazier than you think. We're talking boxy, Old Republic hacker dudes, experimental flops that almost ended the entire R series before it even started, and one obscure droid that, no joke, rewrites the entire way that you look at Star Wars. This is the full evolution of Astromech Droids. Let's roll. So let's rewind the clock. Way before the movies, way before Jedi were chopping each other up with glow sticks, you had the T3 series. These things were basically the grandparents of Astromechs. Boxy, rugged little cubes that looked like someone bolted wheels onto a toolbox. They were the Nokia brick phones of Star Wars, ugly as sin, indestructible, and the reason everything else even exists. T3M4 from Knights of the Old Republic. Dude could slice into computers, patch up your busted starship, and even throw down in a laser fight. Dependable? Absolutely. Sleek? Not even a little. Fast forward a couple centuries, and the Republic unleashes the T7 series. If the T3 was your Nokia brick, the T7 was the first iPhone. Sleeker, smarter, and actually kinda stylish. T701 from the Old Republic MMO is basically R2-D2's great-grandbot, but with more attitude. This little guy's got a heroic streak, always charging into danger like he's trying to make up for being 3 feet tall. And here's the kicker. T7 units were modular, like Lego sets with a personality. The DNA of every Astromech we know and love, it started right here. Alright, before we hit the R series superstars, there's this weird little side branch, the P2 droids. Think of them as the Republic's beta test gone horribly wrong. They were supposed to be the future, faster processors, better navigation, more military ready. But in practice, total embarrassing flop. They overheated, their motivators fried constantly, and their software was super buggy. The Republic basically went, yeah, never mind, and scrapped the whole line. The P2s are that awkward middle child in the Astromech family tree. But here's the lesson. Sometimes you need a spectacular failure to spark a legend. So while the Republic was busy flubbing the P2s, the M series popped up, specifically the M4s. These guys weren't military prototypes or fancy experimentals. They were the blue-collar droids of the galaxy. Designed for maintenance, M4s were sturdy, reliable, and didn't care about glory. If the R2 is the hotshot pilot's co-pilot, the M4 is the grease-covered workhorse keeping your ship from exploding mid-flight. They weren't flashy, they weren't popular, but they proved Astromechs could be repurposed, specialized, and vital for real jobs. The M4 proved droids could be specialized, but the GT series, it took that idea and sprinted in a whole new direction. GTs weren't your average dome heads, they were cargo handlers. Imagine an R2 unit, but bulked up, like it's been hitting the gym for 5 years straight. Instead of navigating ships, they were forklifts with personalities, hauling crates and stacking supplies. This is a huge important shift. The GT proved that Astromechs could be more than just co-pilots or mechanics. They could run logistics, move an entire army's worth of supplies, and still crack a binary joke while doing it. While the GTs were busy moving crates, the C1 series was out there doing something completely different. If you've watched Star Wars Rebels, you already know the poster child, C110P, better known as Chopper. The C1s were basically the rough draft of what Astromechs would eventually become. Boxy frames, exposed parts, clunky arms, they look like a droid built in a garage with spare parts. But that's what makes them so iconic. And Chopper is the perfect example. He's messy, loud, and kind of a jerk, but he still gets the job done. The C1 series shows us the experimental, messy, but essential stage of Astromech history. Alright, after the scrappy C1s, the galaxy said, let's get serious. Enter the R1 series, the OG R droids. These things were tall, sturdy, and built like little space tanks. Fixed legs, big dome heads, they weren't winning any beauty contests, but they were bulletproof. Well, maybe not literally, but you get the idea. Designed to survive the early days of the Empire, navigating capital ships and keeping pilots alive. Mobility? Limited. Charm? Minimal. But reliability? Off the charts. Without it, none of the classics would exist. Okay, now we're talking. The R2 series. The Astromech line that basically defined Star Wars droids. R2-D2? You know him. But he wasn't just a cute sidekick. He was the blueprint for every R series droid after him. These guys had it all. Retractable legs, tools that could literally fix anything mid-flight, and enough personality programming to make you forget that they're robots. Starfighter navigation? Check. Hyperdrive repairs? Check. Saving the galaxy while everyone else panics? Triple check. R2s were functional, charismatic, and had a stubborn loyalty that made them more than machines. They were heroes in their own right, proving Astromechs could carry a story, not just a ship. The R2 series didn't just raise the bar, it built the bar, nailed it to the floor, and dared every future droid to try and top it. And spoiler alert, they mostly couldn't. And hey, quick detour before we break down more droids. I actually just launched a brand new merch shop, and yes, it's fully nerd approved. Think Star Wars, some of my other favorite fandoms, and a few designs that are just dumb enough to be funny. We've got shirts like Plot Holes Build Character and the Essential Watchlist tee with over 100 of my favorite movies listed on the back. Seriously, it's overkill, but that's kind of the point. If you want to help me keep making these deep dive videos, grab something at rocketriley.co. Every purchase literally helps keep the lights on so I can make videos like this one without selling my soul to some algorithm overlord. Alright, enough talk. Back to the droids. Next up, the LE series, a weird hybrid between a repair droid and a protocol droid. Yeah, I know, it sounds a bit like a Frankenstein experiment, but hear me out. Take Clink from the Bad Batch. He's a Swiss Army knife on wheels. Clamps, springy legs, a head that spins 360 degrees. More advanced than the old, bulkier models, he could fix ships, navigate tricky terrain, and talk like a tiny robot with attitude. These droids weren't flashy, but they were practical geniuses. The LE series proves something important. Astromechs aren't just sidekicks. They evolve, adapt, and sometimes steal the show quietly while everyone else fights the Empire. Now, let's talk about the R3 series, basically an R2 with a glow-up. Transparent domes, upgraded computer systems, and built for deep space missions. These guys traded a little durability for brains. Think of them as the nerdy cousin of R2-D2. Super smart, capable of tackling complex navigation, but maybe not the guy you want crashing into a TIE fighter at full speed. R3s weren't stars of the show, but they were the behind-the-scenes geniuses of the Astromech world, quietly saving lives while everyone else gets the applause. Rolling into the R4 series, the budget-friendly cousin of R2. Cheaper, simpler, and built more for planetary use than starfighting glory. Take R4 P-17, Obi-Wan's loyal companion during the Clone Wars. Not flashy, not built to steal scenes, but very reliable. These droids were made to get the job done without breaking the bank. R4s proved that sometimes being practical beats being iconic. Next up, the OC series, the quiet, under-the-radar droids of the Outer Rim. These guys weren't talking about style or flash, they were about getting things done. Take OC JK-14, nicknamed CJ from the Resistance. Stationed at the base on Ajan Kloss, this little guy spent his life fixing maintenance issues no one else cared about. The OC series proves an important lesson. Sometimes the ones keeping the gears turning in the background are the real heroes. Next, the Q7 series, basically the futuristic speed demons of the Astromech world. Sleek, compact, and designed for high-speed atmospheric ships, these droids push miniaturization to the max. They mostly live in Legends material, so you won't see them on screen, but think of them as the prototype R2-D2s on steroids. The Q7 series proves the galaxy wasn't just iterating, it was experimenting with extremes. Now let's talk about the R5 series, the budget R2s. You know R5-D4, right? The droid that almost became Luke's sidekick before his motivator blew up? That's the R5 series in a nutshell. Cheap, a little unreliable, and prone to malfunctioning at the worst possible moment. They were everywhere because they were a good enough solution when cost mattered more than perfection. And honestly, even with their flaws, they proved that every Astromech has a role. Next up, the R6 series, the R5's slightly more competent younger sibling. Same compact design, same versatility, but finally a bit more reliable. These droids were perfect for crews who needed a dependable companion without breaking the bank. R6s weren't flashy or stealing the spotlight, but they were the workhorses, quietly getting missions done and proving that evolution is about steady improvement, not just flashy upgrades. Now we're stepping up to the R7 series, the elite line for the New Republic era. These droids weren't your average hangar helpers. They were built for top-tier starfighters like the E-Wing. Durable, precise, and loaded with advanced navigation and targeting systems, R7s were basically the tactical brains every ace pilot wanted in their cockpit. The R7 proves that Astromechs weren't just tools anymore, they were extensions of the pilots themselves, capable of high-pressure missions where split-second decisions meant life or death. Next up, the R8 series. Think of these as R7s, but buffed, upgraded, and more versatile. Same precision, same durability, but now compatible across almost every military and civilian starship. R8s could handle navigation, diagnostics, in-flight repairs, every mission a pilot could throw at them. They weren't as famous as R2, but they were the Swiss Army knives of the Astromech world, quietly keeping the galaxy running without anyone really noticing. Now we've got the K series, Astromechs that took the R2 design, polished it up, and added some next level mobility. Dome-shaped heads, compact bodies, and a motion ball that let them glide smoothly wherever they needed to go. These droids weren't just functional, they had personality and purpose. The K series proves that Star Wars droids aren't static. They evolve not just in tech, but in character, blending utility with a little bit of charm along the way. Next up, the R9 series, the latest and greatest of the Astromech line during the new Jedi Order era. These droids were top-tier tech, advanced sensors, stronger durability, and processors that made them the ultimate co-pilots. R9s weren't mass-produced, they were limited, elite machines for elite missions. The R9 proves the point. Astromechs kept evolving, pushing the limits of what a droid could do. Now, let's talk about the SK series, the Astromechs built for the most immersive Star Wars experience ever, Disney's Galactic Star Cruiser. These droids weren't just functional, they were actually part of the show in real life. Personalized interactions, story-driven tasks, and guests could watch them bring the Halcyon starship to life. Sure, the experience didn't last forever, it closed in September 2023, but the SK series shows that Astromechs aren't limited to ships or war zones. They can be entertainers, guides, and interactive companions. Finally, the BB series, the rolling spherical droids that stole hearts across the galaxy. BB-8, BB-9E, you know the deal. These droids weren't just cute, they were engineering marvels. Self-balancing, fast, agile, and equipped with all the tools an astromech could need. They could keep up with high-speed ships, slip through tight spots, and still look adorable doing it. The BB series represents the peak of astromech evolution. Sleek, efficient, and full of personality without even saying a word. They're the perfect combination of tech and charm, proving that even in a galaxy filled with Jedi and starships, a little rolling ball can make the biggest impact. From the boxy, hacker-ready T3s to the sleek, agile BB series, Astromech droids have been quietly shaping the galaxy for thousands of years. Each series tells a story, the tech of its time, the needs of its pilots, and the personalities that made even a bucket of circuits unforgettable. If you like geeking out over every astromech ever, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe for more ridiculous deep dives, and check out the next video on your screen right now. And if you want to support the channel and snag some cool shirts like this one, head over to rocketriley.co. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.